Hello driving intelligence community. If you can see over here on your left, it's a rainy day. I'm working on a tailgate, painting that. Unfortunately I can't finish it because of the rain.
Beautiful.
So I decided to do something in the garage. One of the things I've been thinking about on this truck was upgrading the side view mirrors. They look kind of nice. It's got the stock mirrors on there, but unfortunately they don't extend out very well, and I've got a pretty wide boat and trailer, so I'd like to see better, and I was thinking about getting towing mirrors. I was walking through the junkyard the other day, and I saw a vehicle that has similar side panels on the lights to my Harley Davidson F150. It has the blinker solution here, so it's a little wider, gives a little bit more sleeker look. I got some open box or DNA Motorsports towing mirrors that have shown up, and they look great. I got them at a great deal. So instead of doing this and just painting this and putting it on, slapping it on there and having side indicator lights, I'm going to do the towing mirrors instead. What's interesting about this though is that I've got other things going on in that door. I want to clean up the door. There's some filth along the windowsill. I've also got some rattle in there, and everybody that follows me knows I can't stand noise, unnecessary noise, so I'm going to figure out what the rattle is. I've got vibration from that speaker, so I'm going to take care of all that in this one video. But there's another thing I'm going to take care of is the power windows. The power window molding has gotten dirty through all these years, and as you may know, the previous owner was a smoker. So there's all that nicotine and garbage in the weather stripping. I want to clean all that out and see if I can't get those power windows to operate more smoothly. Interestingly enough, the left side works well. It's the right side, it's kind of dragging. That's the one that needs to be cleaned most, but I'm going to start with the left side since that has the most activities I want to deal with. Stay tuned. Amazon gal just showed up. Right, Abe? You scared her when you walked up to her. But what did she bring me? Yes, my new towing mirrors just showed up, and I'm going to take them apart because I have a follower who told me that these things are notorious for breaking, at least his experience. So I need to do a careful review. It comes in a nice bag, but it's not completely in the bag. These are gorgeous chrome. I wasn't sure if I wanted chrome, but now that I see them, I like them. It'll match my front and rear bumpers. It comes with a multi-prong connector, and here is a converter. So I guess it depends on what you have in your door. This will convert it. Some mounting hardware. One of the followers that I have said that these things are notorious for breaking right here. Well, this one's still on. So I'm going to check when I put this thing on to see if it doesn't need some reinforcement, maybe with some epoxy. I don't want to take a chance on that breaking when it's on the truck. The only thing that bothers me is how loose this is, but that might be resolved once you tighten up your bolts against this, and this is firmly against the cab. Looking at this from the outside, after I take this mirror off, which is this whole assembly, what I want to do is get behind this where there's all this road gunk and garbage that I have not been able to get out because it's just too tight. I'm going to clean all that up, put a good wax on it before I put the new towing mirrors on. But as I indicated, I need to clean out all this weather stripping. It's seen better days. So I'll clean that out and see if I can't get better performance out of the power windows and hopefully make the power window motors last longer. Getting this door open is a pretty simple job. First, you have to take off a couple trim pieces. This is pretty simple. Just pop it out. The electrical here is also relatively simple. Just pop it up. You'll have to disconnect the electrical here, which frees all this up. And there's a couple screws that need to be removed. You'll pull off this panel here, which is also fairly easy to get off. I'd rather do that with two hands so I don't cause any damage. As I mentioned, this trim pulls straight out. Best to do that with two hands. There's a screw here, one behind the door opening handle, and then you'll just lift the whole thing up, and that gives you access behind the door. And you can see there's a couple of wiring harnesses. I've already disconnected the ones to the power window controls and door lock. I just have that light to remove. Incidentally, if you watch my channel enough, you know I love to keep these mushroom bins because they're great for project organization, so I've got the small pieces that are going to stay in here until I get the project done. Moving on, I pulled off the little cover that's just taped on here, and behind here are 3 bolts that hold this mirror, and we're going to disconnect those after we disconnect the electrical so that we can easily remove the mirror once the electrical is disconnected. I pulled back this weather protector. This is a moisture barrier, and here's the connector for the mirror. So I'm going to disconnect this, pull it up through here, and that will let me take the mirror off as I just indicated. Pretty easy to get this out, as I've indicated. Once you take these 3 nuts off, and be careful when you're taking it off because the nuts have a washer, integrated washer. If they fall down in the door, you're going to have some fun getting those out. But it's out. You can see how dirty this is, and once again, it shows you what a smoker's vehicle looks like on the inside. That's a nicotine stain along here. Here's a comparison of the 2 together, and you can see how much bigger this is and how much further it extends from the base. It's a massive difference. One thing I've noticed just taking it out, you can see that the wire goes through this little section right here. Well, they didn't route this properly, so make sure when you do take this out, do a good inspection of it. Otherwise, the thing's in pretty good condition, but I'm going to take these protectors off and reroute the wire where it belongs, behind the insulation. Before install, as I indicated, I want to clean this up. So you can see all the filth and grime that just builds up here. And it's absolutely impossible to get this off without the mirror removed. So I'm going to clean all this up, including the weather stripping right here, and then we'll move on to installation. Got this cleaned up significantly. These black areas here are scratches from the previous mirror. So I don't know if I'm going to touch that up. I think it's fine the way it is. But I go to the nth degree. So here I am. I'm taking off this weather stripping here. You can see the nasty filth underneath that. It just pulls straight up. And wow. I've already pulled the one off the inside and I've scrubbed it. They both just pull straight up. I would suggest if you do what I'm doing, you go ahead and take the extra step just to get it back to its original cleanliness. You can see how filthy that water is. That came off those dew wipes. You can just see a puddling here, so it's definitely filthy and needs to be cleaned. And here's where that dew wipe installs. You can see it's just disgusting. All this needs to be cleaned up. The unfortunate thing I've come up against here is that the paint started flaking off where it was underneath the dew wipe. And I'm not going to paint that right now. That's a next season project because it's gotten too cold and too wet. But at least below where the dew wipe sits, there is no paint flaking, and I hope it stays like that at least until next spring. Now, what I'm going to do is test the speed of this window going up. I want to see what the speed of the window is. I'm going to time it, and then I'm going to clean the weather stripping. I'm going to try to remove that. I don't know if you can see down in there, but I'm going to try to pull all that weather stripping out, clean it, then reinstall it, and see if that improves the performance of the window. I've cleaned this channel out pretty good with the toothbrush, and then I also used some Scotch-Brite to clean this this rubber section here on the inside, just to get it as clean as possible. I took the speaker out, and now I'm going to take the hose and just rinse down in here. There's holes in the bottom, so I don't need to worry about it causing any problems. It'll drain out. It's designed to get wet. I rerouted the wiring as I indicated earlier in the video, and it's ready for installation. One thing I wanted to point out is that the kit comes with a patch that depends on the kind of connector you have in your vehicle. Now, only 3 of these wires are being used, and you can see there's quite a few other locations for pins. This probably has something to do with some of the vehicles having heated mirrors and also a turn signal indication in the mirror. Driver's side mirror is installed and it's connected electrically and it works. No problem with that. I do like the look, but if you get close and look at some of the fit and finish, I don't necessarily like this. You can see the casting here. And also, when I check this mirror, I just wanted to check to see how tight it is. You can see there's some movement there, but if I do the same thing with the OEM mirror, they don't move at all. I mean, that is really tight. So I'm worried about vibration in that mirror as I'm driving down the road. If that's the case, they're going back, or I'm going to ask for a replacement. Once I put the passenger side on, if it's as loose as that one, it's probably a quality control, and I'm going to get rid of it. Also, if you look at this section here, this is nice and flat. but this one's bowed out a little bit. It's not as tight as I would have hoped. We'll see. I mean, it's for the price. Maybe it's worth the price again. Everything that I've just shown, this and the casting is acceptable to me, but if the mirror vibrates, that's an unacceptable to me, and I'm going to see what I can get resolved with the supplier. Everything's back together except the door panel. Before I put that on, I want to find the vibration that's coming out of this door, and I've checked everything. I've even powered up the speakers. Nothing's vibrating except this. And what I did previously was put a little padding here behind this little isolator. That's a guide for the door lock mechanism. But this one is really loose, and I think I might go ahead and just put a similar piece behind here. Find a piece that will fit behind that and keep this at good tension and prevent this from vibrating around like that. I was going to try to pull this guide out, you can see right here, but I couldn't because it's sandwiched within two pieces of metal underneath here. So what I did is I just took some thin rubber mat and I split it and pushed it behind, and now I don't have the same vibration I had before. And when I put the door panel on, it holds this steady. It's not going to move. So if that was a noise, then I think I've isolated it. I put some fresh electrical tape on here after using some mineral spirits to degrease this, and it's holding pretty tight. I was afraid some of this might vibrate, especially over here by the speaker, by this kicker. This was really loose, and that could cause some vibration with a heavy bass. So I think I've got it all tightened up. This is definitely pretty tight now. If you removed the dew wipe and the corner piece that goes at the back of the door, then you're going to have to install these as a unit before you install the mirror, because the mirror, it compresses the dew wipe on this side, and this is compressed or integrated into the dew wipe on this side. And now I'll demonstrate how this is installed. I've got both door panels on, and I've resolved any noises that were underneath here, cleaned all the weather stripping on both. And I also was missing my vapor barrier on this side. I installed a vapor barrier. Before you couldn't see it through here where the speaker is, but now I've got that in there, which probably helps with some sound deadening as well. So the doors are complete, and now I need to go for a test drive. These are some massive mirrors. Actually, initially they're a little overwhelming, the size of these mirrors compared to what they were and how they look on the truck. They even look big compared to those 20-inch wheels I've got on here. But I think the proof is going to be in how they handle the visibility and any kind of vibration. New mirrors are installed, and they definitely improve visibility around the side of the vehicle. The only concern I've got is that they do vibrate a little bit, the mirror itself, not the housing. So I'm not sure if I find that acceptable yet. I'm going to drive a little bit to see. The other thing I did was improve the quietness of this door. I had something rattling around inside there. I'm hitting bumps, and there is absolutely zero noise coming out of the vehicle or out of that door. So that's great news. And the windows both go up and down at least a half a second faster than it did before after cleaning that weather stripping.
Dig this.
If you did like this video, please subscribe and give me that thumbs up. The thumbs up is the best way you can help my channel because it pushes my videos out to other viewers like you. See you next time on Driving Intelligence.